I thought this was a neat idea, so that's why I'm doing a video, this FixnZip thing. It's a replacement zipper slider or zipper body. It is interesting because it's ambidextrous, so you can put the little lanyard. It comes with this little lanyard on either side of the zipper, but more than likely you're going to have the button facing outwards, and then this part's going to be on the inside. And they did curve it so it doesn't catch on stuff. It's a neat idea, but ultimately I think it's fixing a problem where the garment or tool bag or whatever, sleeping bag, is essentially worn out, among other issues. It's die-cast zinc. It's all what I think is interesting is the little thumb wheel is aluminum, and then they press fit in a steel threaded rod. They do try to make it a little bit, it's an interesting idea. They have a seal spring in there so that when you put it on, it kind of is spring loaded, so that you can put it on and then it kind of draws up automatically, attempting to make it a little bit easier. They also do have, let me really unscrew this here. They have an extra pin in there to keep it from wanting to wobble side to side. So that's nice attention to detail. Actually, let me see how it works on an actual zipper here. All right, finally got this thing installed. It's actually kind of a hassle because you have to press together a zipper if you're not inserting it from the bottom. And I think I mentioned earlier, the biggest issue with this is the fact that, one, if the zipper is actually torn out and you have any gaps, this thing's just going to fall out anyway, just like the old zipper did. Also, it should have come with one of the some type of crimp-on stop, because that's the other, if a zipper tears out some of the zipper teeth, there's nothing you can do about that. But if it's the stop that has fallen off, they should have included one. That way you can put on the zipper and then replace it with a simple crimp-on stop. Because, of course, otherwise, every time you unzip this, it's just going to fall off. Overall, having a little spring-loaded thing does, it works, especially, I guess, if you're putting it, say, mid-zipper for certain situations. Lots of tool bags, the zipper actually won't have a stop. It will just be kind of mated from the factory when it's sewn into the bag, so you may need to actually push the zip together and then install this. Overall, I think the bulk on the inside is not too bad. It does work pretty well. It does hold pretty tight. They say universal fit, but there's just so many different zipper thicknesses that it will work with many zippers, but I wouldn't say all of them, because this is the medium, and this is actually perfect for this size zipper here. But if the zipper was a bit taller or just a little bit wider, it would be in the large. It would use one of these large version of this, and even that's not that large. Many jackets and stuff these days have huge zippers, so they could use a little bit more variety of sizing. But it's a tough challenge because the body just can't be too wide, otherwise it just won't press the teeth in together. So it's kind of, as I was saying earlier, it's a great idea, but really in practice it's just not the cat's meow, because this is replacing a zipper body. Unfortunately, you're usually in the situation for whatever you're trying to replace the zipper body on needs at least just a whole new zipper sewn in, and more than likely the article is just worn out and you have to replace it. So as I was talking about in that little demonstration section, with the right size zippers, it works pretty darn well, although it still has a bit of wobble. And because it is pretty nice die casting, it actually doesn't catch and zips pretty well. But really, when they try to say universal, this is going to end up fitting probably about half the zippers of its size range, because either some are going to be too thick and you're either going to have this loose, which I also suspect is what the spring is for, is to deal with extra thick zippers. But it may have issues because it won't fully enclose the zipper. And of course, the issues where if the stop is missing, this is just going to fall off. If you have missing teeth, then this is just going to fall out of the missing teeth. So, I mean, as good of an idea it is, and actually is finally manufactured, even being die cast, just such a relatively expensive little part. No wonder I haven't really seen or heard of these things until I ran into one at a thrift store. Because it's an object that's, well thought out, but it's attempting to fix a problem in which a device like this really is not a great solution for. It's more of a better solution if you have some type of bag which only has a zipper on one side, and then you have to constantly zip all the way from one side of the bag to the other. This would be a nice option to simply add a second zipper so you can have two zippers and be able to zip up the bag from both sides at the same time. Probably the best idea. They really did put in some effort. They have a pretty well explained size chart here, even a little measuring ruler there, both metric and fractional measurements. They really did try. And then in this little card, they actually have a reasonable step-by-step guide that actually does walk you through it. You know, very few products include decent instructions. So they're really trying because they were wanting to try to sell some of these, and they knew that it was going to be key that people could actually attempt to install it. You know, a big old list of different styles of stuff that it would work with. Anyway, that's my little review of the FixnZip. Neat idea, actually pretty well manufactured little object. But unfortunately, it's a niche item. Anyway, I really appreciate everybody who's been watching and subscribing. And if you haven't subscribed, please do. Until next time, Catus Maximus out. Real quick after that, they do have a patent on it apparently. One thing was curious is no country of origin. The only thing I could find is this right here. It says it's out of Oregon City, Oregon. But it still, nowhere on this card does it say that it's made in the United States. It just has the address of the company. So you might assume that, but they actually need to have something on there for the Federal Trade Act. Actually, I think it's a Tariff Act that they need to have a country of origin on there. And I suspect it may not be made in the United States because for a company that would be based in the United States, they'd probably have a big old Made in USA flag on there if it was. Anyway, see you next video.